In each and every religious tradition, there are mystics. These spiritual explorers have not always been understood or accepted within their traditions. In early Christianity, the mystics were often considered heretical and their writings suppressed because they didn't adhere to the rituals, traditions, even beliefs of priests, bishops, or the Pope. The early church demanded consistency. They wanted the same ritualized and spoken prayers by the masses to affirm their communal beliefs. But the mystics, well, they wanted contemplation, exploration, ritual-free prayer, meditation, to open themselves and to feel connection to their deity, to all that is. The mystics embraced new truths, new ways of understanding themselves, the world, the universe. In 1945, local farmers in Nag Hammadi, Egypt, found a sealed earthenware jar containing 13 leather-bound papyrus codices, together with pages torn from another book. It is believed that these documents found at Nag Hammadi were texts used by various sects of early Christians, many of whom were mystics, but who were deemed heretical, especially once the Christian church began to formalize their structures and books of the New Testament. One of the mystical writings is called the Thunder Perfect Mind. I'm going to invite you to listen to the words from Thunder Perfect Mind. And I invite you to do so by holding that space we created earlier, where you're aware of what is inside and what is outside of you. I send forth from the power, and I have come to those who reflect upon me. And I have found among those who seek after me. Look upon me, you who reflect upon me, and you hearers, hear me. You who are waiting for me, take me to yourselves, and do not banish me from your sight, and do not make your voice hate me, nor your hearing. For I am the first and the last. I am the honored one and the scorned one. I am the whore and the holy one. I am the wife and the virgin. I am the mother and the daughter. I am the members of my mother. I am the barren one, and many are her sons. I am she whose wedding is great, and I have not taken a husband. I am the midwife, and she who does not bear. I am the solace of my labor pains. I am the bride and the bridegroom, and it is my husband who begot me. I am the mother of my father and the sister of my husband, and he is my offspring. I am the silence that is incomprehensible, and the idea whose remembrance is frequent. I am the voice whose sound is manifold, and the word whose appearance is multiple. I am the utterance of my name, for I am knowledge and ignorance. I am shame and boldness. I am shameless and I am ashamed. I am strength and I am fear. I am war and peace. Give me heed. Hear me, you hearers, and learn of my words, you who know me. I am the hearing that is attainable to everything. I am the speech that cannot be grasped. I am the name of the sound and the sound of the name. I am the sign of the letter and the designation of the division. As I read and listened to those words, I was taken back to something else I read a long time ago. The Tao Te Ching, which is sometimes referred to as the mystical wisdom of ancient China. The Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The nameless is the origin of heaven and earth. The named is the mother of myriad things, thus constantly without desire. One observes its essence. Constantly with desire, one observes its manifestations. These two emerge together, but differ in name. The unity is said to be the mystery. Mystery of mysteries, the door to all wonders. A mystic's path is unique unto itself. Where it leads and what the mystic apprehends is unique. But the mystic's path, what the mystic's path is, in some ways, seems very much like what we Unitarian Universalists call our own spiritual path. It's not static, but it is always in process. You use an mystic's journey without expectation, open to their inner wisdom and the wisdom of the world and the universe, open to what each might teach them or what they might learn as they're open to both simultaneously. Mystics and Unitarian Universalists are not tightly bound by their religious traditions. And when they gather in community, for instance, like some of the early Christian monastic communities, they accept one another and encourage spiritual exploration in each other, exploring new ways of knowing and loving based on states of awareness. I don't know if you know it, but there are Unitarian Universalists who have chosen the mystic path. And for some of you, you might think that's antithetical to how we view Unitarian Universalists with their focus on logic and rationalism and humanism. but you might check it out. uumystics.org. Let me share a little bit from their website. Quotes of mystics on this Unitarian Universalist path. One said, mysticism is the open-minded and curious investigation, study, exploration, discovery, and experiential practice for direct experience of the transcending mystery which is known by many names. It is the open, direct, experiential communication, connection, communion with that transcending mystery, higher power, universal creative intelligence, infinite, ineffable presence, life, energy, spirit, God, whatever it is, understood by an individual and or a group of individuals. Mysticism is a means and method to change our awareness, recognition, acceptance, embodiment, and expression of that mysterious power, greater and beyond, which exists and operates within and through us. Here's another quote. Mysticism leads me to ask deeper whys rather than to settle for plucking the low-hanging fruit of our cultural's prevailing wisdom. It is a door to a wider place. And one last. Mysticism is knowing that I am part of everything, from the beginning to now to forever. Connecting with and accepting responsibility for all on our earth home, and believing that gratitude and love are powerful tools. Everything we send out comes back. Everything. We are helped by the connection with all. You know, I not long ago was teaching a class in a leadership institute for Unitarian Universalists, and I brought sermons from Christians and Jewish Unitarians and pagan and Muslim Unitarians. But it was this one from the UU Mystics that really seemed to challenge some Unitarian Universalists. The sermon is called The Confessions of a Unitarian Universalist Mystic. And he goes into what he thinks mysticism is. He says, I know no better description of a mystical experience than that of William James in his classic, The Varieties of Religious Experience, in which he devotes an entire chapter to the subject of mysticism. James delineates 4 characteristics of a mystical experience. The first is that the mystical experience is ineffable. That is, it cannot be imparted to another, either by words or artistic expression. The most a mystic can do is point another person in that direction. For example, imagine trying to explain the taste of a mango to someone who has never eaten one. That's what it's like to have a mystical experience and trying to communicate it. It must be experienced directly to be understood. The second characteristic of the mystical experience is what James called noetic. In other words, that it is somehow revelatory. One emerges from the experience convinced that the experience is momentous and that one has learned something deep and profound of value and importance. The profound revelation gives the experience a quality of lasting authority. And James says that having these two qualities is sufficient to be considered a mystical experience. But he says there are sometimes two other qualities: that the experience is transitory, and the second is that in the throes of a mystical experience one feels passive, as if the experience were flowing over as a wave might flow over a boulder on the shore. Thus, one cannot simply decide to have a mystical experience to have one. To these four characteristics, Euston Smith, the religious scholar, adds a fifth. He says, the memory of the experience lasts and has power to change one's life. Collier, who wrote that sermon I spoke of, goes on to say, can these experiences be definitive for a Unitarian Universalist religious life? Or put another way, would we exclude someone from the family of Unitarian Universalism if the person's mystical experience were deeply and indelibly enmeshed in his or her religious life? Are you a mystic? Maybe you're a closet mystic. Have you ever had a mystical kind of experience or multiple mystical experiences? I know many Unitarian Universalists consider themselves to be spiritual seekers, open to new truths. But do you open yourself within and outside yourself to experience all that is? Do you find sometimes your experiences are difficult to share? Have you been profoundly moved or even changed by an experience? Is there a place that you feel safe to explore this direct experience of transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, what gives you a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces that create and uphold life? I can tell you, I feel safe here with you, sharing those experiences for myself. And I hope you feel safe. I hope you can share whatever your truths are, even if you're just pointing at an experience that is too difficult to share. If you consider yourself a mystic or a spiritual seeker, is your type of mysticism or spiritual seeking grounded in Sufism, Christianity, humanism, Judaism, Taoism, Buddhism, paganism, or not grounded in any particular religious tradition? As a Unitarian Universalist minister, and as your minister, I can tell you that my role here is not to tell you how to explore your spiritual path, or to take one of the traditional paths, but to encourage you to stick with the journey. Perhaps at times you will delve into one tradition or practice or another. Perhaps you will come to understand that no particular path, no particular religion, even what is within yourself, can give you all truth. But as you journey, you learn more. You experience more. You interact more with what is within and what is in the universe, in other people, in mystery. Unitarian Universalist Reverend Forrest Church describes a kind of universal, multi-religious search for truth and meaning. He calls it the world cathedral. He says that light shines in through the world cathedral through its many windows with different refraction. There are windows without number, some long forgotten, covered with layers of grime, others revered by millions, each beautiful in its own way. Some abstract, some representational, some dark and meditative, others bright and dazzling. Each window tells a story of the creation of the world, the meaning of its history, the purpose of its life, the nature of humankind. Each window is a different religion. And on the cathedral floor, the shadows that move around and play with the light patterns suggest meaning, challenging us to interpret our lives as best we can. The windows of the cathedral allow the light to shine in. I believe it is that light itself that mystics strive to experience. That is the basis of a mystical experience, not the windows or the shadows shown in through the cathedral. Church's metaphor expresses what is qualitatively different, the beliefs, the rituals, traditions of all religions, the windows through which people look. It does not speak of the mystical experience. And so I come back to, are you a UU mystic? I'm not sure you have to put yourself, label yourself as one thing or another, but I do believe it is important to continue your quest for truth, meaning, purpose throughout a lifetime. And I'm sure that mystical encounters can offer transformation, truths, new apprehensions of reality that can offer useful, deep insights on your spiritual quest. I promise that in this congregation, we will do our best to accept all of who you are now or in the future and encourage your spiritual growth no matter where your path may lead you. May the light of existence within and outside you be a guide as you continue your journey.